Since the dissolution of the Soviet Union, the United States emerged as the sole global superpower, particularly in terms of military might. With a fleet of over a dozen nuclear-powered aircraft carriers and B-2 bombers, the U.S. has acted recklessly and provocatively, inciting disputes and conflicts in multiple countries worldwide. However, despite proclaiming itself as the world's policeman, there are still 4 countries that the U.S. dares not confront. So, who are they? In this video, we'll unveil these countries one by one. 1. Russia. During the later stages of the Cold War, the former Soviet Union vigorously developed its military-industrial complex, significantly bolstering its military strength, even startling the United States. Following the Soviet Union's dissolution, Russia inherited 90% of the nuclear weapons and 80% of conventional weapons, securing its position as the world's second most powerful military. Since then, Russia has continued to enhance its military capabilities, emulating the military structure of the United States. It has progressed toward integrated land, sea, and air operations, establishing a defense command center in 2014 and subsequently developing an integrated command platform in the following years, providing robust support for Russia's modern military operations. Some wonder why, despite Russia's formidable military strength, it has become mired in the quagmire of the Ukrainian battlefield. In reality, Russia has consistently controlled the overall tempo of the conflict. Even with significant Western support, it has adeptly adjusted its strategic layout. What truly unnerves the US and its allies is Russia's arsenal of nuclear weapons. It's understood that Russia currently possesses over 6,000 nuclear warheads, more than 500 above the US's count. Russia's strategic nuclear submarine, the Northern Wind, is a formidable weapon. As a fourth-generation nuclear submarine with robust maneuverability, it lurks year-round in the Bering Strait, ready to launch an attack against adversaries at any moment. Once the war erupts, loading these nuclear weapons would rain countless warheads onto the enemy's territory. It's this reality that prevents the U.S. from engaging in a direct confrontation with Russia. Russia's intercontinental ballistic missile, Satan II, boasts significant capabilities. It is rumored that on the day of its test launch by the Russian military, the U.S. government issued an urgent evacuation resolution for certain buildings, indicating the extent of fear the U.S. military holds toward this weapon. Currently, the U.S. only dares to impose economic and trade sanctions on Russia, refraining from direct confrontation, a testament to the sheer might of Russia's military. Moreover, given the amicable relationship between China and Russia, if the U.S. were to instigate a war, the combined forces of China and Russia would undoubtedly lead to the failure of the U.S. military. 2. North Korea. North Korea, situated in Northeast Asia, possesses a relatively small territory with a strict social system, maintaining closed-off foreign trade. It stands as one of the most underdeveloped and impoverished nations globally, yet boasts a formidable military capability that even the United States refrains from underestimating. It's understood that North Korea has 1.35 million active-duty military personnel, ranking 5th in global military manpower. Over the years, North Korea has consistently allocated approximately 40% of its GDP towards military expenditures. Years of military investment have enabled North Korea to master nuclear weapon technology early on. Presently, it claims to have successfully mounted nuclear warheads onto intercontinental missiles capable of striking targets in the U.S. or elsewhere overseas. In addition to its possession of nuclear weapons and missiles, North Korea maintains a robust conventional military force. Its army is equipped with modern weaponry, including 3,500 main battle tanks, 2,000 artillery rockets, as well as other weapons like surface-to-surface missiles and mortars, capable of meeting various combat demands in diverse environments. Since the Korean War in 1950, the relationship between North Korea and the U.S. has remained tense. Despite intermittent diplomatic engagements, their hostile relations persist. Perhaps bolstered by its military strength, North Korea maintains a relatively independent diplomatic policy. It possesses a strong sense of sovereignty and self-respect, rejecting American-imposed orders in East Asia and disregarding various economic, human rights, and trade activities orchestrated by the U.S. in the region. Even so, the US refrains from easily provoking North Korea, fearing that any misstep might lead to a display of North Korea's nuclear arsenal. However, North Korea's greatest confidence stems from its friendly relations with China and Russia. Particularly, the enduring historical and contemporary ties between China and North Korea ensure that should North Korea face adversity, China will undoubtedly intervene. 3. Iran. Iran claims the title of the Middle Eastern kingpin, and even the United States refrains from easily provoking it. In reality, Iran and the US harbored animosity dating back to the 20th century. In the 1970s, Iran underwent a societal revolution, overthrowing its 4,000-year-old monarchy, paving the way for religious involvement in politics, with Islam becoming its political core. This newfound Iran vehemently opposed Western political systems and liberal values, instituting comprehensive anti-American policies. Especially when the US sheltered the exiled ruler, the fury of the Iranian people surged, leading to the seizure of over 50 American embassy hostages, deterring the US from meddling in Iranian internal affairs. Subsequently, the US initiated retaliatory measures, imposing comprehensive sanctions on Iran in economic, trade, diplomatic, and financial spheres. In 2020, a rare airstrike by the US targeted and killed a senior Iranian political figure, Soleimani, escalating tensions between Iran and the US. At the brink of conflict, unexpectedly, the US eventually backed down. Why? The US's desire to intervene in Iran's internal affairs is rooted in the unique geographical advantage of the country. Iran possesses abundant oil and natural gas reserves and controls vital shipping routes influencing global maritime trade. However, despite being a smaller Middle Eastern nation, Iran boasts robust military strength. Its unique fusion of politics and religion allows the highest Iranian leadership to command military operations at any time. With a military force of 600,000 troops, seemingly not numerous, Iran harbors over 1 million strategic reserve forces. Moreover, it houses fervently Islamic holy warriors unafraid of death, making many countries reluctant to engage in conflict with Iran. After years of military development, Iran's modernized military displays remarkable capabilities. Equipped with cruise missiles and hypersonic ballistic missiles, Iran's military prowess is not to be underestimated by the US. Iran's formidable underwater military capabilities, particularly its submarine fleet centered around the Kilo-class submarines, allow Iran's navy to dominate the Strait of Hormuz. Coupled with narrow waterways, US carrier groups struggle to exert their full strength, finding it challenging to inflict significant damage on Iran's navy. Ultimately, what truly unsettles the US is Iran's possession of nuclear weapons. Loading these warheads onto missiles would inflict severe damage upon the US military. However, with Iran's rich historical and cultural heritage, a populace with staunch religious beliefs, and a high resistance to foreign influences, even if the US seeks alternative paths, it's challenging to break the will of the Iranian people in safeguarding their national sovereignty. 4. Vietnam. Vietnam claims the title of the Southeast Asian kingpin. Despite its relatively small landmass and not overwhelmingly strong military, it engaged in a struggle against the US for around 15 years and eventually succeeded in driving the American military out. Vietnam's ability to expel the US from its borders owes much to the substantial assistance from China and the Soviet Union. In particular, the Soviet Union provided over $2 billion in military aid, surpassing China's support, which, despite persistent efforts, contributed over 20 billion renminbi in military aid from 1950 to 1975 during Vietnam's liberation. With the support of China and the Soviet Union, the US suffered successive defeats on the battlefield, ultimately forced to voluntarily withdraw from the Vietnam War. Post-liberation, Vietnam should have focused on economic development, but instead turned its attention to neighboring countries, attempting to dominate the entire Southeast Asian region. Apart from invading Laos and Cambodia, Vietnam frequently provoked conflicts along the Sino-Vietnamese border. Consequently, China launched a self-defensive war against Vietnam, forcing the Vietnamese military to retreat within a month. Subsequently, Vietnam, discontented, continued the war, resulting in heavy losses over a decade. Vietnam's economy sank into turmoil, losing the courage to provoke and refraining from challenging China until today. Since the US, recognized for its top-ranked military prowess globally, hesitates even when dealing with the aforementioned four countries, what stance does the US adopt towards China? In fact, from the early days of New China during the Korean War, the million-strong Chinese volunteers demonstrated the formidable might of Chinese soldiers in action, causing the US to refrain from reckless actions against the country. Today, after decades of military and economic development, China stands as the primary adversary to the United States. Since the successful detonation of its first atomic bomb in 1964, China has possessed military strength capable of deterring the US and the Soviet Union. Subsequently, China established a robust military-industrial complex and currently maintains a stockpile of 400 nuclear warheads. Recently, the test launch success of the Dongfeng 41 intercontinental missile implies that China's nuclear strike range now covers the entire globe. China has also successfully test-fired the Dongfeng 17 anti-ship missile, indicating that U.S. nuclear-powered aircraft carrier groups are no longer the same threat. Coupled with satellite detection systems, this capability is enough to deeply unsettle the U.S. military. In the realm of the Air Force, China's fifth-generation fighter jet, the J-20, boasts superior capabilities with excellent stealth and high maneuverability, capable of challenging the U.S. F-22 and safeguarding China's airspace. Even in aircraft carrier construction, China has overcome technological barriers. Presently, 3 aircraft carriers have been launched, with the latest, the Fujian ship, meeting world-class standards in certain performance aspects. Today, China's military strength has significantly escalated, providing confidence and competence to remain unbeatable in any military conflict in the Western Pacific. However, China must continue its rapid progress, striving to surpass the United States both militarily and economically at the earliest opportunity. This is the end of this video. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and comment. We genuinely appreciate your support.